Hey everyone, welcome back to Jamboree Chemistry. Today's video is another Endgame analysis video. In this video, I want to go over a situation in which I was fully loaded with items, but the correct decision was to not use anything and simply flat roll. I'm discussing this position because a lot of times when you have 3 items in your pocket, the obvious decision is to use one of them, get some kind of return on your investment, and clear up space to replace it. However, this situation illustrates that this is not always the case, and it's important to be ready for situations in which you may need to ignore your instincts and think more critically. So everyone, let's jump into it. As you can see, it's turn 16 and I'm playing as Daisy. I have 3 items in my pocket, including a golden pipe, a mushroom, and a custom dice. My general plan is to make my way up to the 3rd floor and get to Boo, but there are obviously other things that I want to accomplish along the way, as well as other threats on the board that may force me to reroute my plan. The first thing I need to do is look at any immediate threats from my opponents that I may need to counteract. As you can see here, after an additional star exchange was added for the final 5-turn event, Mario and Luigi are both close to stars. Mario is especially dangerous as he's holding a buddy, and even if Luigi were to take it from him after his roll, without any acceleration items, it's unlikely that he'd be able to roll the necessary 10 to hit both stars, meaning that Mario would have an opportunity on his following turn to roll a 7 or higher and trade it in for 2 stars, putting him at 6. Rolling a 7 or higher is a 40% probability, which is too significant to completely ignore, so I would be interested in playing defense on Mario and taking this star exchange. The problem for me is that with 2 star exchanges, there is only a 50% chance that I'd land on the star exchange that I want. Taking away this star exchange doesn't really help me, as I don't really need to play defense on Luigi, and from here I would need to roll a 10 to take away this star exchange from Mario. Now, if I miss the 10, which I most likely would, there's still a 60% chance that Mario would miss his roll, and I would be able to use one of my acceleration items on the following turn to take it away. But there are 2 problems with this. One is that Mario's buddy disappears after his next turn, so if he misses the roll, playing defense on him by taking away the star exchange wouldn't be nearly as important, as he would only be able to get 1 star on the following turn. The second problem is that I may end up having to use both my mushroom and my custom just to get back in a position to get back to Boo, and while I would be able to replace the custom after passing the Koopa shop, that might not be enough for me to get back to Boo while avoiding all of these dangerous spaces. The math would check out for me to do so if no other players were able to use any items to slow me down, but Luigi has 2 curse items, and I would only be left with 1 custom dice by the time I got to turn 19. Meaning that one of those 2 turns, depending on where I am, I could be at risk of landing on one of 5 dangerous spaces. With all of this uncertainty, and considering that I don't really need to sacrifice my current position to play defense on Luigi, as he is not as strong, it just makes more sense to stay in my current position, so I can rule out using the golden pipe. The next thing I need to check is whether or not anyone has a super swap mirror. This would mean that I would either need to speed up whatever I'm doing and pass my desired destinations on this turn, these being the item shops and Boo, or get out of the way entirely so that another player can't benefit from my position while simultaneously leaving me somewhere else. I do not have any items to help me pass Boo on this turn, so that would only leave the option of getting out of the way. Fortunately, for me, none of my opponents have a super swap mirror or even a regular swap mirror, so I'm completely safe in regards to staying where I am. The next thing I need to look at is where I am in relation to any event spaces. I'm currently in the running for the event bonus star, and if I can get dual value by purchasing a useful item, it would definitely be in my best interest to consider. If we look here, I'm within 7 of landing at the 4th place shop. The problem with that is that I'm not in 4th place, so the only benefit would be a +1 in my event space equity, which would not be worth the use of the custom dice. Landing here also wouldn't guarantee that I reach Boo, avoid this star trap, avoid Bowser, avoid this unlucky space, and avoid chance time on the following turn with the use of my mushroom, so there is not even a significant positional upside. The other item shop to land on in this area is the Rainbow Shop, but unfortunately I'm still 11 spaces away. There are no other spaces that I would really want to land on enough to use my custom dice. With all of this being taken into consideration, it would make sense for me to hold off using my custom dice. The last item for me to consider using is the mushroom. This is a bad idea for a couple of reasons. One is that I'm using it early rather than saving it for a more effective situation. If we look here, surrounding Boo, there is a Star Trap, Bowser space, an Unlucky space, and a Chance Time space. These are all spaces I would want to be able to accelerate past when I reach this area. The second reason is that I risk passing everything that I would want to hit. Obviously, I want to reach the Rainbow Shop with my custom dice in the following turn, but with the mushroom, there's a chance that I overshoot it by rolling an 8 through 10, which would put my total roll between 13 and 15. Furthermore, if I were to roll an 8, I would land on the Star Trap, and if I were to roll a 9, I would land on Bowser, which are 2 of the 4 spaces that I'm specifically trying to avoid. So really, the best choice is flat rolling. There's only one dangerous space to land on in my 1 through 10 range. I'm also guaranteed to be within range of the Rainbow Shop on the following turn in which I can use my custom. Finally, if we return to these dangerous spaces, as long as I were to roll a 2 or higher on this turn, I can then custom to the second of these 2 event spaces, guaranteeing that I pass all 4 of these dangerous spaces with the mushroom on turn 18, in addition to reaching Boo and stealing a star. Even if I were to roll a 1 on this turn, I can still custom to the first of these 2 event spaces on the following turn, and then have a 90% chance to pass Chance Time on turn 18 with the mushroom. The last thing I need to look at is whether or not I have enough turns to execute this plan while still maximizing my value on remaining/future items in my pocket. Looking at this plan, if I were to flat roll on turn 16, I could then use my custom on turn 17, which is when I would reach the Rainbow Shop to replace the custom I just used with a Super Swap Mirror. Turn 18 would be spent using my mushroom, which still leaves 2 turns left for the golden pipe that I currently have and the Super Swap Mirror that I'll have in the future. So in the end, I have just enough time to flat roll on this turn while still being able to maximize the rest of my value. So, let's see how this actually worked out for me.
got a star!
Yay! Yahoo! Woohoo! Whoop!
Whoa! Congratulations!
So there it is. I was able to execute my plan and close it out for a victory. I hope you guys found this video helpful, and just remember, sometimes you need to flat roll even when you're fully loaded with items. Well everyone, that's all I have for this video. I'll see you guys next time.